What is this show, right? Like, I thought it was like M.
It's PG.
Right? Is that PG, dude?
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 4 of the Trans-Pacific Pop Culture Minute. I am Cervelli, aka Cervelli Plays.
And I am Kieran, aka Doddy Style.
So before we get this started, be sure to like and comment on this video and share this video with your friends. Let the people know about the LiveLinkTeam. Without waiting any longer, Dottie, we just finished episode 4 of the Falcon and Winter Soldier. And I'll tell you what, episode 3, episode 4 was quite a difference. There was a lot different, and in a very good way. Episode 4, a lot happened in this episode, but a lot happened that was interesting. We mentioned last week that a lot happened in the last episode. It wasn't interesting. This was very interesting.
Oh yeah.
So
God, I feel like we should just talk about John. We should probably just talk about John, because that is probably the biggest thing. I don't know. I can't see them throwing anything crazier for the rest of the series than that turn. I don't even know what you'd call it, but he was just kind of, the entire episode, he was just kind of off. He was sort of like zoned out, just staring into space. We had the music going, and then he just snapped. Like, did you see that? Did you honestly see that coming? Like, we were alluding to the fact that he was maybe not going to be such a good guy, but did you see that coming?
I think what they've done really well with this show and the last and with WandaVision is steering you to think something, and then it gets people talking for a while. Like, people have been predicting that he was going to be like a bad guy for a while, but we said it. We thought that it was going to be, he already took the serum. He already had it. He already had it. This, no, he did not have it, and that actually is the reason why he wants it. It's because he didn't have it. And but when you say that he snapped, you think about it, man, there's a lot in this show that's happened since he got the Captain America like job. And it's completely like what has he done that's been successful? Think about it. His first fight, well, on like the top of that car, gets beat up. They don't get Carly. Then remember they raid that house in like Germany or wherever they were.
Yep.
Nope.
No one's
not there. Nobody respects him. The guy spits in his face.
Yeah.
Guy spits in his face. Nobody respects him. Even like just the fact that he's being disrespected by Sam and Bucky. Like they don't. Nope. All that, right? He's just getting his ass kicked left and right. And I think that's what made him snap. People just don't respect him, and he feels like he should be respected because he feels like he earned it. And
by having
that's what's
shield.
tough is, to be honest, he hasn't earned it to the eyes of the public. He might have earned it in the government's eyes, but to the eyes of the public, he has not earned it. And so I think he snaps. Of course, he snaps after taking the serum. In my opinion, that's when he like totally snapped. Because what made him snap was the death of Lamar.
Honestly, you know who gets it the worst? Lamar got. Oh my goodness, dude. He stands up for his friend. Obviously, him and John Walker, they go way back. They went, they toured in Afghanistan together. And even though I feel like Lamar is a bit more, or was, sorry, spoilers, by the way, was a bit more of a reasonable, a bit more of a sort of, he understood both sides of things a bit more, but he's still stuck by his friend. He's still stuck by John Walker, and he just got beat up for it. He got thrown off of cars. He got, like, when the Wakandans came in, he got smacked in the face with sticks and shit. Like, he doesn't have a shield.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Like, yeah, he gets, and then remember there's the writing this episode was really, really well done, and you can tell because it's stuff like when that girl picks up the shield, and like that's not like that's done unintentionally, where he gets beat up, loses the shield, and then a Wakandan non-super soldier kicks his ass, and then puts the shield on, and then like gives it back to him, just kind of like toss it to him. That is like
super.
I just lost to a non-super soldier.
How am I meant to be the super soldier then?
Yeah. How am I Captain America if I can't even beat regular people? And so that's like that. But that whole imagery, that's so good. So good when she picks it up and then she wears it, and you could tell that he's like, if she could fucking put it on, like come on, dude.
Yeah.
Right. So that was so well done. Yeah, you're right. Like Lamar, dude, just gets messed up. He actually dies, in my opinion, in a very, very gruesome way. Like, he gets kicked and his back just slams in that pillar. Like, that dude's spine is severed and he's dead. Like, that was on impact, like, dead.
Yeah.
And that's
like gritty.
Last 5 minutes. Last 5 minutes were really intense.
What is the show rate? Like, I thought it was like M.
It's PG.
Right? Is that PG, dude?
Why would it be R?
Did you the last 5 minutes, man? When he was slamming that dude with the shield and there's the blood
so let's get to that now. So of course, like, Lamar dies. Walker's just had enough. So he chases that guy, gets him. By the way, like, when he like threw the shield, a few times. That was when I was like, oh shit,
it's going down.
Whoa, and then the title of the episode, I believe, was like the whole world's watching or something, and that's obviously what it's referring to. Is this is now going to be like a global thing? We're like, oh man, it's a bad look for America. I'll tell you that much. That's a bad look. That your main guy, it just killed what looks like an innocent guy. So the reason I don't think it's rated R, by the way, is because they don't show any of that.
It's still gruesome though, man.
I agree. They show because and like I thought they were gonna do like the typical Marvel like guy, like when Zemo got hit in the head by the shield, he was just knocked out.
Yeah,
but we have to get to that. But like the dude's he's slamming the shield into him, and like there's blood all over him, and like so that means that like dude, we got freaking that shield is being driven into the dude's chest.
Yeah,
like it's cutting him in half. You know what I mean? Like he's like ripping him open. Yeah, and it's like, oh wow.
Yeah, that final frame, amazing.
Again, the writing, yes, like it's just like the cinematography and the writing is like in this episode is really, really good. And just the last week, we credit to like the costume design, the set design, and things like that. Like I think that in this one, definitely the writing and the cinematography like really was good. Like it was probably the best it's ever been in the show. And I mean that's it. But yes, the series, in my opinion, went from where I think was going on like what I would call like a downward slope to typical Marvel. Like, trust me, like we knew like those 2 episodes are probably a little slower and not insanely great or anything. And then it's that wow scene where you're like, oh, this just completely changed the show. Like completely changed the show. I'm fired up.
Me too, man. I can't wait till next week.
So
final image is sort of meant to emulate like Steve Rogers, Captain America, right? Like that pose is like Captain America.
But of course, there's the blood in the shield. Blood in the shield.
That's a metaphor, man. Imagery.
He's a murderer. He's a killer. And I recently watched the original Captain America, and he talked about how like they had to pick the right man to take it because it makes everything bigger. So like everything gets like pushed, where it's like good becomes great, bad becomes worse, and all those things. So like that's why like for Red Skull, it didn't work. It wasn't ready. It wasn't meant for him. He's a bad guy. But for Steve Rogers, like that's why they chose Steve, because like it worked for Steve, and they knew, and that guy knew that it would. And then even in this episode, Lamar says that he's like, well, doesn't it make you better? You know, like whatever, like whatever it is becomes greater and all these things. And then John Walker, I guess, has been through some stuff, you know,
it
like
seems
serving
like
and it's like, well, shit, maybe he's not mentally ready for that, and maybe he never like would be. And
I guess where do you think next episode is going? Does he, because now he's a super soldier, presumably.
I think that now the Flag Smashers are going to see a massive increase in support. And it's going to be because people are going to go, look at this guy. That is who we're trying to fight against. Like, that guy just murdered someone. Like, we're like
cold blood.
I just think like the Flag Smashers are just going to be pretty much like see like a huge increase in support.
Do you think John Walker's going to answer for his crimes? Do you think the American government is going to be like, look, you're off the job, buddy, and he's going to like go rogue? Do you think? Where do you think John
That's a
Walker's
pretty good guess.
Go next
There's
episode?
no way that they like let him do that. Like that, like they're gonna be like, nope, this is our guy. We're sticking our guns. This is our guy. No, he's done. He's done. I mean, I don't like looking at like things like this, but like there's still a few scenes from trailers that we haven't seen yet. In particular, like Sam and Bucky haven't like had the shield at all in the show, and like in the trailer they actually have it like a lot in the trailer. My guess is that now maybe they have to go home, like everybody involved has to go home, including Sam and Bucky. And so like they're gonna be like back in the States, you know, like maybe they get the shield instead, who knows. But I think next episode is just gonna be them dealing with the recoil from all this and just like this what now, like the what now. The other thing too is like Lamar died. They aren't just gonna like let that slide either. Like this girl just killed like an American soldier, and you know, like a huge like government thing. I mean, he's Captain America's sidekick. Like that's like, with that said, like I think that we could see in both sides, I think, of the story getting like a big increase in support. But also like, yeah, dude, John Walker's done. No way is he gonna be on the loose. So interesting, the power broker's still in play here.
Yeah, because we were talking that possibly the power broker could have been John Walker, like potentially, yeah, he's playing both sides, blah blah blah. But I guess that's not really an option anymore.
Yeah, that's out the door now.
So obviously there's still some major players within the story that are yet to be introduced. There's still the loose ends with Zemo, which by
the way, I wrote down he's gone.
Yeah.
Like he's gone.
He's out of here.
What are the chances that he comes back in this series?
I hate to do this as well, but with the trailers, there is that scene of Bucky and Zemo. I think you mentioned it in the first episode with the bullets.
Yeah, with the bullets, yeah.
Yeah, so he'll at least make an appearance.
My guess is 100%. He's still in this show. 100%.
Do you think he's going to play a role, though? Like a major role? Yes. Or do you think, okay, all right.
Yeah, I think he's going to help them in some way. I'm not sure, but I think he's going to help them in some way. I got to say this. I really were pretty fond of him as a character. I actually like him a lot. I think he was very well written, and I think that like the way that they worked him in is like him being a good guy is really interesting. On top of that, he shoots Carly. Man, when all the serums were out and he just starts stepping on him, I was like, oh, that's yes. Like this guy, he's a good guy. This is a good guy. And then obviously, John Walker.
But maybe he's not a great guy, but he is a consistent guy. I will say that.
Consistent, like, yes.
All over the moon. Like ever since Civil War. Yeah. His motivation, his entire sort of trajectory has been the exact same. He hasn't faltered on that once. We know what he wants. We know what he's willing to do to get that.
Superheroes.
Yeah.
Hates him.
Straight up. And
hates him.
I can like at the start where they were sort of talking about the moral implications of the super serum and super soldiers and blah blah blah. Like he was making a bit of sense, you know, like some of the points he was bringing up about supremacy and blah blah blah. Like it was sound logic, you know.
Doesn't that make a good villain? When you can really understand them.
Yes,
that is the most important thing. Is like you can understand where they're coming from. That's why Thanos is great. You understand like this guy kind of has a point. But the way that he's going about it, like, no, like, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Zemo, like, you know that he's not a good guy. I shouldn't have said that, but, like, he's a bad guy, but, like, he's doing the right thing. But maybe the way that he's going about it, just like Carly, like, I understand. I get it. I think she's a good villain. Like, I think I understand. But she's going way too far with it.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a good villain. But real quick, a few things that I wrote down. I don't know if I wrote down a few things that I just want to mention. The start of the episode with the whole Bucky scene, I fucking love that. Like that made me like Bucky so much more. Like it's good character development. Like, because all we know is that like, yeah, Bucky's not crazy anymore. Like those words don't work. We never found out how. Like it's just like, oh no, he meditated and it's gone. No, like he worked like with the Wakandan people. They fixed him. And like that moment for him, like when it worked, right? And she was like, I'm not gonna let you hurt anybody. She said the words and he's crying and he's fighting it. And then it worked. He wasn't crying because it hurt. I think he's crying because he like did it. I mean, like in that moment, like he realized that he did it.
He's free.
And he's free. But I think maybe he's also crying too because maybe he knows like he's not free. Like he's still the Winter Soldier and he's still Bucky and he still has to like live with what happened. But like at least he's not under the control of somebody else. Yeah. And like at least he can control himself now. So like that I thought was very, very well done. And it's just like a nice like beginning to the episode. Like that's really cool.
Because especially coming into a show, like we were saying earlier, in previous episodes, how they're not the characters don't really stand up on their own. They were always kind of relying on someone else. It's great to just get extra, like you say, development and sort of learn more. Loose ends get tied up.
I wrote this down too. The MCU, in my opinion, did not do a good job of explaining what life was like during the blip. We really don't know what life was like, and this show kind of expects us to know that. And now we're starting to get a better idea of what it was like. So, like, they had to talk on the show, like the Flight Smashers, they want life to be like what it was like during the blip. And I remember, like, they said that a few times, and every time I was like, what was so special about life during that time? I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Like, what was different? And in this episode, when Sam is talking to that teacher, the guy basically explains, like, by telling you, like, oh, it's because at that time the world needed not just communities, the world needed everyone to work together. And so I guess what they miss is, like, the world, I guess, during that, like, 5-year stretch was, like, unified, and the world was, like, working together, and there were no communities, or it was just one big, like, working together place. Where all of a sudden you have people and from whole cultures and whatever moving to one new place, or, like, one place is already established, because half of each place is gone. And, like, they help each other. Like, I guess during that time there was no wars, there was no fighting. What I would expect, like, during the blip is just, like, chaos and, like, people just taking control of everything they can. I guess it was the exact opposite. I guess the world during that time was a peaceful place where people were just trying to survive and they wanted to help each other. But, like, they didn't explain that.
No.
And if you didn't pay attention to that 2-minute sequence, like, over your head, and you have no clue what they're talking, like, what was so special about life during that time, right? And so I guess, like, I wish that they had, like, kind of said that earlier or mentioned it more of, like, what life was like.
Shown some clips, be like, hey, 5 years ago or whatever, have a clip of Carly, coming into the maybe they will in the future, but just get some context.
At this point, as of episode 4, I'm like they make it sound like life was so great, but, like, I imagine in my brain, like, because, like, maybe from, like, Endgame, like, when they show, like, that scene of, like, 5 years later, the world is like there's, like, no sports still, and it's in like that's what I care about. Like there's no sports. This world sucks. but like, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, like that Endgame, okay, the world was shitty. But apparently it wasn't. I don't know. Like, that's apparently to them, like, everyone was working together and it was a great thing. So I just thought that, like, they haven't really done a very good job of, like, writing that, in my opinion. But maybe it's getting there. Like I said, that scene actually helped me a lot, because, like, I didn't think of it from that perspective of, like, oh, the world was united and, like, helping each other. And then last thing, El Chapo exists in the MCU. El Chapo exists in this universe. Like, that confirms it. Like, El Chapo exists in the MCU. That's what I got from that. So, but that was the episode.
That's the title,
a thumbnail.
Yeah.
El Chapo exists El Chapo is in the MCU. El Chapo is the power broker. That's what he is. El Chapo is the power broker. How much I would pay a lot of money for that to be true.
That would be a twist, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's all I got. It was a great episode. Seriously, that's the best episode of the series, 100%.
So far. Do you think they're going to top it? It's going to be hard,
I bet you the ending's going to be batshit crazy. I bet you the ending of this, because I bet you there's a character that we haven't met yet that is really, really important. I bet you it's a character that we already know. Like, that's in the MCU. That's my guess, is that it's a character in the MCU. Remember, we're still trying to find ways that, like, it's going to work its way into other things. Kind of like how we thought WandaVision would bring in, like, the X-Men. And then they just popped that balloon in the final episode. That sucked.
Yeah.
Because, like, it was like, oh, no, that's not the guy from the X-Men movies. It's just, like, a guy.
Random dude.
Same actor. We just casted the same actor. Anyways. And just totally honey dicked us, but whatever. And then, but, like, I do believe that this show is going to lead into something else. What, though? I don't know. My prediction was that it was going to be mutants. It doesn't look very likely.
Maybe not anymore. But...
yeah, maybe not anymore. I mean, the power broker, so what's interesting is he wants his serum back. And Carly doesn't have any. So, like,
it's gonna be problematic.
I guess what I'm asking is, like, why does he want it back? Didn't they, like, buy it off of him? Or maybe they stole it.
The guy who
they steal it? I think maybe they stole it.
The guy who Zemo killed was
Yeah.
the guy that was making it for the CIA, and then he got snapped.
Yeah.
And then he came back 5 years later, and
then he was working for the power broker.
Yeah.
Paid for it. He paid for it. So I guess they did steal it. Yeah, they did steal it then.
Yeah.
So
essentially.
But like, okay, but then what did he want it for? Like, why did he want it?
That's a good question. So that's it for episode 4. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a comment below. Who do you think the power broker could be if he was already a character in the MCU? Yeah, leave your comments down below. Be sure to like. Be sure to subscribe. Check us out on Twitch. We stream damn near every day. That's twitch.tv/LiveLinkTeam. I am Kieran, aka Doddy Style.
And I am Cervelli, aka Cervelli Plays.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.